Yo! Today, do some bed loading action. Some gravy. Hey. Garbage can. It's been a while since I've done a garbage can. What's going on south of Calgary by Okotoks area by the looks of the map. And then that'll be it. This morning was supposed to be rig out tanks and stack mats and then go do this garbage can, but that got all shuffled till the weekend because I love working weekends. And yeah, actually we were supposed to do this yesterday and someone needed emergency power swivel, which I didn't bring any cameras. I'm like, no, I'm just doing a garbage can. I'm not gonna bring a camera. What do? I ended up making a video about it today. I should have done the one on power swivel. It was nothing special. Got a swivel from Arrow and just took it out to Winfield, which wasn't too far. It was actually that whole other frack that I've been working on that I haven't been making video of, which is just, what did I take out there? 4 tanks. Another tractor brought out 12 mats. And I took a buffer out there. And then the swivel, and that is it. So we just put mats out for the coil, and then I think the service rig is using them right now. So yeah, that's where we're at there. Get out of here. I washed the truck in the shop, which we got bad soft water, so it just stains it, but it was so disgusting with like soot from landing on every time it rains. It's like, I gotta do something about this. It's disgusting. It's already 10 o'clock. I gotta get going. I'm gonna be home late. been a little seized up there. Looks like I could use some refurb. Yes. Yes, yes. powder puff leaves. Clay. Just a puffy puff. Must be a nightmare to work in moving that rig. It's the dry side of the world over here on the south side of Calgary. It's usually pretty crisp. So that was pretty gravy. And just bring out a garbage can, toss her in, and you got another one to go back. He's like, nope. I'm like, awesome. We just deck off trailers right on the road here. Highly illegal, but we've all done it. I've done it. I'm like, oh, if I can go in there without a trailer, I might be able to make it in and out. It's so muddy. But yes, that is kind of not allowed. If someone ran into that, the company will be sued. And there's nothing you can do about it. But hey, it's pretty quiet over here. You do what you gotta do. It's pretty full in there anyways, so he did the right thing. Alright, so we'll book her home now. And we'll take the scenic route. I hate driving through Calgary. I only got to go a little bit more east here, and then I'll be on 24 out to Highway 1. Then we'll get off at 9. Book her pass to come out by Crossfield or Airdrie, one of the two. Take a pick. Since we're bobtail, it won't take any extra time at all. Yeah, this is kind of the roundabout if you want to skip out on Calgary scales, which we know is my favorite scales. And it was open, so I'm going to skip out on the traffic because coming back that way is not as easy as going the other way. It's usually all bogged up, but this 567 here, this brings you right back out to Airdrie, which puts you on the other side of the Balzac scale. Funny story of this corner here, right there. After I turned the corner, I was we went out and rescued the knuckle picker road train. Broke a piece of his suspension or something on while he was on location or whatever, and went out, picked him up with we took the Jeep. Did we just I can't remember. Yeah, I think we must have had the Jeep in the 24 low, and I just turned that corner right there, and I was like, it was dark, and I was like, oh man, it's pulling hard, and I was in my T-bed. I think at that time it might have been even tandem T-bed action. And I was just hooking gears. It's got a bit of an incline there, and I was just like, oh, it's getting through on the backup lights. All I could see was smoke. Just like pulled over right away. There's probably half as much room here as white line. And grabbed the flashlight, walked back to the 24 low, and my biggest fears were answered. Looked in between, and what was it? It was all the two axles, both insides. The tires came off. Just at that point, another pickup turned behind and came up behind me. It's like, hey man, I've seen a bunch of ball bearings back there at the corner. Did that come off you? I'm like, might not have been ball bearings, possibly lug nuts. So yeah, that was super not happy about that. It was an incident of tires got changed in the yard, which we had tire guys come all the time and check out our trailers. Cal Tire, not throwing any names out there, but they did some tire work, and rather the tag got blown off because they would usually just tuck it in the light socket flapper. It could have been, sometimes those wheelers will sit for months, not go anywhere. So it might have been something got done and somebody didn't do something. And yeah, I went from road train all the way south of Calgary a little bit, about probably 35 minutes. Loaded the knuckle picker and got back to there. And then when I turned that corner, it all fell apart. So we ended up having to deck down right there and bring the knuckle picker. Had to come off, go around to the back. And this is the good thing about the knuckle picker, is that I could just pick out the front. So basically just extended the boom out. We had to pick up the trailer, swing it out to the ditch, put it down, fish out all the tires, and then we got the tires all back onto the trailer. Did we chain up? I think we chained it up the best we could with the picker, and just went to the next range road and pulled across and backed across, and then waited for someone else to bring me another wheeler, and then another wheeler had to come and wheel that picker. Super expensive excursion. So I had to load another wheeler on the wheeler, and then I bring that back to town. And yeah, it was bad because those tires were pretty much all brand new, but it got wedged underneath there for, you know, 200-300 meters, if probably not even that, but it basically wrecked all those tires. And I think we had to do some studs on the axles and stuff, so that was really poopy. And of course it was like 9 o'clock at night when I picked up the picker, and by the time I got back it was probably like 4 in the morning. One of those excursions, just like, we need to go together, hurry up, go. They'd be like, did you check the lug nuts? I'm like, so when you do your pre-trip, just because the lug nuts are finger tight doesn't mean that's gonna make it the whole trip. I'm like, what's the difference? I'm like, were they falling off in the yard? Then who didn't do their post-trip then? I'm like, don't point fingers at me. Someone did Cal Tire work and something got misplaced somewhere along the lines and didn't get put on there. So yeah, he wasn't too happy with me. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? It's not like I could have like got in there with the trailer loaded and like tightened them up. For starters, we don't carry any like nut wrenches, hex bars, or any of those things like we used to do when you had Dayton's. And you carried a spare tire and on the bottom of your trailer in a tire rack, but negative, didn't have any of that stuff. So. We're just at Bicycle right now, so then we'll hang a lefty here, and this will bring us out right just before Cross Fields. Some new rattles, squeaky ones. It's little, probably don't really hear it, but Cartel. Some of these guys are still rolling. Rentals. I always liked it because they had a, well, maybe they changed the name. I thought before the snoozy small town here doesn't like noise. They got a cop shop right up Main Street here, so we'll keep it down. This place always reminds me of Road Train because it's got the blues. You know, it's like, oh man, one of those trailers is probably a Road Train trailer. Thought actually at one time they actually bought one of our pickers. Oh, there it is. 114. It's tandem Kenworth. 10 and a 4 dog leg, 4 1/4 cat. Another truck if it could talk. The stories that this thing had. We didn't use it that much. Just kind of hung out. There she is, parked against the fence. Good old strong truck. Alright, carry on there, carry on. We want to get back to the yard and do a couple, kind of a walk around. It's more people asking about kind of what's so different about a Texas bed. The oil field guys will know, and I'll explain it to the guys that don't know. Someone had asked me about kind of what's the difference between, say, maybe a regular tractor and a winch tractor, and then your winch tractor for, say, a T800 versus a C5, which is a Texas bed. Let's talk about Tex. Well, basically, any winch tractor can be converted into a Texas bed. It's just as simple as having a hydraulic tail on the back. The measurements are pretty much the same. The only difference between these two is that this one's got the 62-inch high-rise studio bunk. Some tractors will have different racks. I had a huge mistake of having like a winch tractor headache rack on my Road Train Texas bed, which the chain racks were the same height as the uprights on the winch. So that's a big no-no. I found it all the time. The swamper would leave this chain lid up and I would suck up an 8x40 mat and I would plow into that every time. I don't know how many times I had to straighten that out. Don't say so much. Other than that, it's just basically a tractor with a hydraulic roll. It's nice and hot out. This is a T800. This will be the biggest difference is the frame rails are different in a T800 versus a C5. The C5's got bigger frame rails. It's a more beefier off-road application. Just all around more sturdily built. The diffs will be the same. Front axle can pretty much be the same. T800s will usually only have 385 tires on the front, and they usually keep their factory bumper. Where the C5, this thing's gonna get pushed by cats, it's gonna get picked up by bed trucks if you're stuck, or even like the cat'll hook onto you and pull you out of a hole if you're in a hole. This one, the C500, has the square head, so the rad sits higher. The rad is bigger for better cooling, and since the rad sits up so much high and gives you the square hood, you're allowed to have stuff in a hydraulic pump, which I should open the hood here. It's wasps trying to get me. More wasps. They love all my dead bugs. We've had massive wasps this year. Actually, the guy was just out at the frack where I gotta go tomorrow. It helps if you're a tall guy to have a C500 because usually the front ends are, and we put lift blocks down there. That looks like about a 4-inch ish lift in the front of this one. So see, the hydraulic pump runs right off the crank, and the rad being up higher, where the T800, I don't know if I can even open that hood. It's hard to open the hood when the truck's got no air in it, because the cab tilts back and then the hood pins are tight. Let's see. This one's got sweet JDM zip ties. Another comment. Oh, look at that. Holy Jesus Louises. This thing's... Might need some lube. Might need greased. So see how the rad sits way down. Well, this one's got some lift in the front too, so that's good. I always say if you're going to have an off-road truck, you're going to want it high as possible, so you can get in and around situations easier. This guy's gone through Rimby like I did too. They were doing fresh tarring there the other day, and I was like, I could just hear it just getting thrown up all over. So this one has a proper engine in it. Mine does not. It has a different style engine that is from like a 2002, even though this is like a 2013 truck. This is a first gen ISX, 2002, 2005-ish. So no emissions, baby turbo. Oh, get out of here, wasp. Bad time to do this. I'm gonna get eaten, gonna get stung. Whoop. Damn it. I need a new emblem now. Still need one for my glove box. Holy man, why is that? Springs must be toast. This is the second truck that he bought. Hence 302. So with the Texas bed, we always opt to have, this is the fucking lost. Get out of here. Get. You want some of this? I'll give you some. What do we see now? That's a 62. I do believe this is 36-inch sleeper. It's pretty much your basic for an oil field truck. A lot of guys are going with the bigger sleepers now, but with the Texas bed, the bigger the sleeper you have, the further your winch has got to be back, and then that's less working room. And honestly, I don't sleep in it too much. You see how the uprights of the winch there is the tallest part on there. So when you suck something up that's maybe obviously too long for the truck, or you can't get it to come down because it's long, like say 40-foot stuff, I suck it right into the top of the uprights. So then having anything flush with the top of the uprights is bad. So you get these sweep bunks. We got all the finest material here. This one's pretty played out. It's got small pins in it, so it kind of flops around all over the place. It's supposed to have, the set of bunks were designed, I think, from Deca, which built this truck, Grand Prairie, which is where TriStar was from. These bunks are designed to fit also back here, but for some reason they were customized after. So this has got like a 2-inch square tubing on it, and this has got like 3.5 or 4 square tubing. So when I put it back there and having the roll in its lowest position where you're supposed to have it to bed load stuff, it's not even touching the roll. So this is where the money is. It's pinned there, and it's got hydraulic rams, and it locks into rather down, low, and high, and it actually can sit on top of the highest, giving me another couple inches, which doesn't really make a difference. There's all the hydraulic rams and the locks. So those are all air locks, hydraulics run by the winch console inside. We got some work lights in the back, and of course we have a roll just like if it was the back of a trailer. Mud flap design is a little bit to be desired. I don't really like it. It's really chicken poopy, let's just say. Oh, this fifth wheel, had someone also ask me about fifth wheel. So this comes standard on most of your C500s. Just for more, it's double locking is basically all it is. This is your secondary lock, it's your primary lock, and it's just designed to be able to take more abuse. This one's pretty stout because it's got this slider that it slides on, is super HD. I've never had this style of wheel before, but I did see this on a couple other trucks, and I actually do believe like military style is kind of the same. The one I had at Road Train just had the locking teeth on the side that it slid in that curled lip, and it had the teeth that would shoot in and lock in. I ripped that thing off once, but I was also doing something I shouldn't have been doing by getting a 24 low on a pump out of some situation. They're like, do you want the bed truck to stay just to make sure you can get out of here? I'm like, no, I'll be just fine. And I wasn't fine. I basically unfolded. I'll show you on the other truck, because that's the style of fifth wheel that I had on the slider anyways. See, it just sits in this rail here, and I actually pulled this, bent it right up, and the wheel came out of one side, and it was like hanging like this. I almost lost and rolled the pump. Well, pump or light plant. It was for a shallow well, like a Trailblazer rig, coil rig, so it wasn't super heavy. I don't think we really move those anymore nowadays. Like, I haven't seen a coil rig like Trailblazer and Essential. No, it was Technicoil and Trailblazer, that's right. So we get a bigger front tires. Suspension wise, this is the same amount of leafs. Sometimes a little bit different shackles. I know my Road Train one didn't have greasable ones. This one does, which I kind of hate. We'll go 425s on the front instead of, well, that one's got 425s as well. Or is that a 385? Oh, it's a 425 as well. Should only need really a 385 on a tractor at most, but sometimes that's how they come. They like to overbuild them here in Alberta. So with having the pump running off the crank, that allows me to drive and winch and kind of finesse my way into situations where if the load is lighter than the truck, then it's a situation. Because you spool out and you're like, oh, winch, and then you start winching two, and it's on a little bit of something, and it goes one way and it needs to go the other way, and then pretty soon you're not lined up to come off the roll and up through the pins. And then you're kind of farting around. And with a non-live hydraulics, like let's say mechanical, you can drive and winch, but you're only going to go the speed of the truck, and usually the truck is faster than the winch will go, and you'll just slack off your line, and your line will double over on itself or do something stupid that makes you look like an idiot. So yeah, other than having some tie downs, which has still got all these ratchets for swamp mats, which they'll probably be just a permanent fixture. I don't like having them, but they've come in handy once or twice. Especially with that garbage can, because that garbage can wasn't really sitting flush here, so I put a strap on the front. These are locked in by a pin right there. That's pretty easy, just slips, turns, comes out of this keeper, and pull them out, you're done. So inside, the console's pretty basic, same as everything else that we kind of. So we got, this is a Deca console. This is kind of standard equipment. A lot of consoles are like this off the side of the seat. So we got the lock. So that's to unlock the tail. This is to move the tail up and down. This is your hydraulics. No need to push in the clutch on live hydraulics because it's not engaging to a gear drive off the transmission, where say a T800 you have to stop the transmission from spinning by pushing the clutch and having the clutch brake engage, put the PTO in, and then you're good to go. Or it grinds. So there's just your winch up and down. I got lights for my light rack. Got a high and low switch. This is your dogs for free spooling. Band brake for free spooling so you can straighten out your line. Or give it the old heave-ho, the first shove off the trailer. You see sometimes it's like whoosh, off the low boy until it, and then I put on the brake and then I'll click in the dogs. You don't ever want to like kick it back so fast and then just throw your dogs in, because that makes a hell of a bang, and sometimes dogs will explode. And then this one's just my D-sign. The interior wise, T800, C500, all the Kenworth cabs are always the same, unless if you get, say, like the sow at Edson has the space cab, and different size sleepers, of course. So basically the cab, the windshield, the doors, everything inside here is the same across. I could even say that from like 2002, whenever they had that style of dash that had, I'm pretty sure the cabs have not changed. C5, T8, W9, I don't even know what other, 550s, same. They're all the same. This one's pretty basic. It's only got the 18 speed. I would love to have an auxiliary, at least a 2-speed here. The 4-speed down here would be better, but beggars can't be choosers. I could be driving a T800. That was fairly, well, it had the right engine, but it's not as cool looking. I'm all about C5, so here I am, C5. We got positive air shutoffs. We need that in the oil field for anywhere we go, just in case if you, per se, had a runaway. And then you could shut it down by killing the air. It's just a electronic pancake disc, you can say, that just trips it by grounding out the circuit, and it just shuts the air off. It's kind of required by all oil companies in Alberta. Yeah, well, that's about it. I think that's it. I like having the small bunk for visibility. My other truck had like a window. It had small windows on the side, and then it had the big window in the middle like this. For road train, that I can basically get back here and I could see, and then I can glimpse through that, and I could have the trailer at a 90-degree angle, and I could just be, suicide knob's nice because you can kind of hang your hand off it. You don't lose traction when you're barely, sometimes you're at an idle, you're like laying way back here and you're just gripping the steering wheel to steer into a spot. But, oh, it's hot in here. So that pretty much, that's the tour. Gonna hook up the trailer, and tomorrow we'll be gonna go out and take down 4 buckets and set them up for double suck for the tractor, and then we stab a couple mats and grab the skidded bathroom garbage can thing there and throw it on top of the mats. And I'll haul the mats are ours, come back to our yard, but the bathroom thingamajiggers got to go back to Evergreen. And grab some chalk blocks that Buddy forgot there because there was a hornet's nest. It's like, oh, there was a hornet's nest, I had to take off, I forgot my chalk blocks. So he's like, see if they're there tomorrow? Like, yeah, no problem. We'll check it. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for thumbing up. And the one guy that gives a thumb down, make sure to hit that thumb button. Thumbing up. And I said too much. Thank you for supporting Patreon, and thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Brunch time.
Uma ameaça foi detectada. Uma ameaça foi detectada.